It was supposed to be a simple business trip, a quiet 2 weeks while my husband was away. But what started with a request not to call quickly spiraled into a devastating betrayal that shattered my decade-long marriage and forced me to fight for my very survival. Darkness was just beginning to creep into the garden as I gently tended my beloved Phalaenopsis orchids. Their delicate scent usually soothed me, but that evening it was completely overwhelmed by the sharp, expensive cologne clinging to my husband, Ethan, as he dragged his suitcase into the entryway. His tie was loose, his eyes tired. After 10 years, I knew that scent, that look intimately. He barely glanced at me. I'm leaving. This business trip is important. Foreign partners, a geological survey for a resort in the Hamptons. Top secret, you understand? Don't call or text for 15 days. I need to focus. His voice was flat, a simple notification like a weather report. I nodded, my practice smile already in place. The smile of the understanding wife. I even reached out, pretending to adjust his collar, a small gesture of wifely concern. He flinched, almost imperceptibly, but I saw it. 15 days? That's a long time. I murmured, my voice betraying a flicker of unease. He took my hand, but his palm fell cold. Security reasons, he reiterated. I'll call you when it's done. The house and garden are in your hands. All right, I said, my voice falsely bright. You go to your important work. I'll be fine here. The clatter of his suitcase wheels echoed through our luxurious brownstone, followed by the heavy thud of the iron gate. Then a chilling silence. I stood in the middle of our opulent living room, staring at my reflection in a vast picture window. 10 years. 10 years since I, Ava Reed, an ambitious landscape architect with my own brand, Reed Landscapes, gave it all up. I need someone to hold down the fort, he'd said. So I retreated, pouring my heart into every flower in this gilded cage, believing I was nurturing our home. But his coldness had grown over the years. Dinners together dwindled. Affection, concern, they had simply dried up. He left early, came home late, always work. I blamed myself. Was I doing something wrong? Did marriages just wither? I tried to revive it, but met only indifference, sometimes irritation. Gradually, I grew tired too. Only silence remained. This business trip, this demand for no contact, didn't bother me as it once might have. It simply solidified a cold distance that reached deep into my bones. 3 days later, the house felt enormous and empty. I sought solace in my orchid garden, a vibrant world of Phalaenopsis, dancing ladies, and purple dendrobiums, specially ordered from Florida. As I carefully wiped each leaf, my phone chimed. Then again, and again. Annoyed, I peeled off my gloves and picked it up. 3 identical bank notifications stared back at me. Transaction alerts from Ethan's Black Card, linked to my account. My heart stopped. $4,000 charge at Aria Restaurant. Aria. The name struck me like a physical blow. For $1,000. I checked the date and time. Just 10 minutes ago. My hands trembled as I called the bank. Yes, Mrs. Reed, the agent confirmed. $4,000 payment made at Aria Restaurant, Upper East Side, Manhattan. Upper East Side, not the Hamptons. My body went cold. The fragrant orchids now felt sickening, suffocating. I remembered Aria. 6 months ago, for our 10th anniversary, I'd shown Ethan an article about it. Honey, it's so romantic. Beautiful river view, I'd pleaded. His eyes glued to his computer, he'd scoffed. Don't be ridiculous. Look at the price. A month's salary for one employee. It's for idle rich people to show off. He got annoyed when I pressed. Don't be so extravagant. We can use that money for something more useful. Our anniversary ended with a quiet dinner at home. I told myself he was just practical. But now, the same man who preached practicality, the man supposedly doing a geological survey in the Hamptons, the man who demanded no contact, was at Aria and had dropped $4,000. What client warranted such extravagance? My hand shook, not from anger yet, but from a terrifying cold spreading through my veins. Had I been living in blind trust for a decade, or a perfectly wrapped deception? I looked at the pristine white orchids. Beautiful, immaculate. Why did they suddenly feel so fragile, so hypocritical? He lied. That single thought cut through me like broken glass. He deceived me. The initial shock gave way to a chilling calm, the kind that precedes pain. I didn't scream. I didn't break things. I simply walked inside and poured myself a glass of ice water. The cold liquid cleared my mind. What now? Call him? Scream? And hear another elaborate lie? I'd wasted 10 years trusting him. I wouldn't waste another second being a fool. I needed the truth. My phone a lifeline. My eyes scanned my contacts. Not Mom. Her heart couldn't take it. I needed someone with a cool head, someone who could act. Chloe, my best friend since college. A sharp, independent lawyer who detested hypocrisy. If anyone could help, it was her. The phone rang twice. What's up? Lady of the Brownstone, she chirped. Miss your poor friend? Or another flower planting project? I took a deep breath, fighting the tremor in my voice. Chloe, are you free? I need your help. Her tone instantly hardened. She knew that voice. I'm at the office. What's wrong? What did Ethan do? I'm not sure. I choked out, the fragments swirling. He said he went to the Hamptons for 15 days. Secret project. No calls. Secret. Chloe's voice rose. Smells fishy. Secret from his own wife? What is this, 1950? I cut her off. 15 minutes ago, his black card was used for $4,000 at Aria, Upper East Side. Silence. The silence of a lawyer analyzing a case. Aria, she finally said. The French restaurant you wanted for your anniversary. And he called extravagant? Yes, that one. My throat burned. That bastard, Chloe hissed. I told you not to trust him too much. For $1,000 is definitely a problem. What do you want? Should I send someone over? No, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. Not a scandal. I need the truth. You're a lawyer. You have methods. Investigate who he's with. Aria is luxury. They'll have security cameras, a reservation list. Understood, she replied crisply. Send me the card info, your account number, a clear photo of Ethan. I have contacts. But Ava, her voice softened with concern. Are you really okay? I looked at my orchids, still beautiful. I don't know, but don't worry. I won't fall apart. I hung up. From this moment, my life would never be the same. The sun had set, leaving only an orange streak in the sky. The scent of the orchids, once comforting, now felt nauseating. I didn't eat. The only sound in the house was the rhythmic ticking of the grandfather clock, each tick a hammer blow to my empty chest. I tried to rationalize. A business partner? A female CEO? A deposit for a big contract? My phone buzzed. It was 10 p.m. A message from Chloe. Take a deep breath, sit down, then open this. My hands trembled. I told her I wouldn't fall apart, but my body betrayed me. Cold sweat. Nausea. I clicked the video. 30 seconds. Shot covertly, maybe by another diner. It was Ethan. The same suit I'd ironed for him that morning. Jacket off. Relaxed, in the opulent setting of Aria. Across from him, a very young woman with long, light brown hair, fair skin, wearing a wine-colored silk slip dress. Charlotte, the intern. I met her once, 3 months ago, when I brought him lunch. He'd introduced her casually. She's an intern. She'd sweetly said, Hello, Mrs. Reed. No wonder Mr. Cole praises you so much, with such delicious food. In the video, Ethan was carefully placing a piece of lobster onto Charlotte's plate. His eyes, usually so cold with me, were filled with a sickening passion, a look I hadn't seen in years. She laughed, leaned across the table, and playfully wiped sauce from his mouth with her finger. An intimate gesture. He didn't pull away. He took her hand, brought it to his lips, and kissed it. 30 seconds. The video ended. My phone clattered to the cold granite floor. I had been betrayed. Not a business partner. Not a fleeting fling. A deep, secret relationship. He was using my money, the card I gave him, to wine and dine a girl half my age. A sharp pain pierced my chest, but no tears came. They had dried up. I had given up Reed Landscapes, sacrificed my youth to be this liar's stable support. I had nurtured my garden, only to find a venomous snake hidden within it. The phone lay dark on the floor, but the 30-second video replayed in my mind. Ethan's kiss, Charlotte's laugh. Each image a blade. I slid down the cold wall. This brownstone, this garden, my heaven, the result of my sacrifice. It was a gilded cage. I was a bird trapped within, while its owner sought another, younger bird. The phone rang. Chloe. I took a deep breath, trying to still the tremors. I got it. Did you see it? Chloe's voice was urgent, laced with rage. I didn't answer. My throat was tight. That bastard. Ethan. That damn bastard. She started cursing. That girl is Charlotte, the intern. What are you going to do? Go smash everything. Chloe. My voice was quiet, devoid of emotion, tearless. Huh. She paused, surprised. Are you at the office now? Yes, I'm here. Waiting for your call. You're my lawyer, right? Of course I am. What are you saying? I'm your friend. I took another deep breath. The coldness spread through me. I don't need you to be my friend. I need you to be my lawyer. You need to be colder than me. Silence. Chloe understood. The friend transformed into the sharp, professional lawyer. Speak. I'm listening. First, I said, rising and walking to my hardwood desk, where our household documents lay. Prepare procedures to immediately freeze all our joint marital accounts. Freeze. Chloe asked, Are you sure? He'll find out and call you. He'll find out, I replied, my voice firm. But it will be too late. This brownstone is in both our names. My parents' down payment is now joint property. I can't let him touch the assets. I realized I no longer thought of him as my beloved husband. What remained was a stranger named Ethan Cole. Understood, Chloe said. But to freeze joint accounts, we need a valid reason. You need to file for divorce. Then the court would grant an emergency freeze. No, I stated. Not yet. If I divorce now, I'm giving them freedom. I need another reason. I looked around the lavish room. Chloe, if I report to the bank as the primary cardholder that I suspect my husband is committing fraud or using marital property for illegal purposes, would that be enough for a temporary freeze? A pause. Legally, yes. The bank can temporarily suspend to protect client assets, especially for VIP clients. But it will cause a scandal. I need a scandal, I said. I want him to realize I'm not the idiot he's been manipulating for 10 years. I hung up. No room for regret. No fear. If pain doesn't kill you, it turns you to steel. My heart felt harder than stone. 10 years. I was a submissive wife for 10 years. This was the price. I immediately looked up Mr. Davies, the director of preferred client services at our bank. He managed our accounts, always polite, sending flowers on my birthday. Now, I needed his preferred services. It was almost 11 p.m., but he answered on the third ring. Mrs. Reed, good evening. Calling at this hour? Is there an emergency? Mr. Davies, I interrupted, my voice surprisingly calm. I'm calling about an emergency. I need two things handled immediately. First, cancel the secondary credit card. I recited Ethan's black card number, memorized from paying his statements. Cancel. He sounded shocked. Ma'am, this is a maximum limit VIP card. Mr. Cole is on a business trip. He might have an emergency. I know. I cut him off. I am requesting cancellation. I'm a primary holder. I have the right. Cancel it now. Yes. Understood. I'll block it immediately. What's the second matter? His voice was already tense. The second matter is, I took a breath. I am Ava Reed, co-owner of the joint accounts. I listed our checking, stock, and savings account numbers. I request an emergency measure to temporarily freeze all transactions from these accounts. This time, a longer silence. I heard him suck in his breath. Mrs. Reed, could you tell me the reason? This is complicated, as Mr. Cole is a co-owner. The reason is, I emphasized each word. I, the primary owner of the majority of the assets, have sufficient grounds to suspect that my husband, Mr. Ethan Cole, is using joint assets for illegal purposes and committing fraud. And he is currently showing signs of liquidating assets. Fraud. Illegal. Liquidating assets. The legal terms Chloe had prepared. Mr. Davies was genuinely panicked. Ma'am, calm down. This is very serious. If you say so, per client protection regulations, I will immediately notify the system to block all online and over-the-counter transactions. Please come to the nearest branch tomorrow at 8 a.m. to sign the paperwork. Good. I'll be there. and I don't want a single dollar withdrawn from those accounts from this moment on. Yes, understood. I'll process it immediately. I hung up. The room was silent. My hand, still gripping the phone, wasn't trembling. For 10 years, these hands cooked, Garden. Massaged him. Now, with these hands, I was freezing everything that was his. I had cut off his financial channel. I had cut off his retreat. The $4,000 appetizer at Aria was truly expensive. Now it was time for me to serve the main course. I didn't sleep. I sat on the patio, staring at the darkened orchid garden. My mind was just as dark. Every time I closed my eyes, the video replayed. Ethan's kiss, Charlotte's laugh, the $4,000 bill. A cruel pantomime of the 10 years of my youth buried in this brownstone. At 7:05 a.m., I was at Chloe's office. My eyes were swollen, my face pale. I knew I looked miserable. Chloe emerged from a conference room, sharp in a tailored black suit, her hair in a high ponytail. Her usually cheerful eyes were gone, replaced by suppressed rage. She pushed a hot coffee at me. Drink it. You look like death warmed over. I shook my head. Can't. Is everything done? She sat across from me, crossing her arms. Finished. Sent your confirmation paperwork to the bank director at 8 a.m. Everything's frozen. His black card is officially a useless piece of plastic. A wave of relief washed over me, but it couldn't fill the void. Thank you. Chloe's gaze was piercing. Ava, answer me calmly, as your lawyer. What do you want? Just to warn him? Vent your anger? Or do you want a divorce? Divorce. The word felt strange, painful. 10 years. I gave up everything to be his wife. Now divorce? I don't know. Chloe sighed, pacing. Look, if you just want to warn him, he'll come back. He'll kneel, beg, swear he'll change. And then what? He'll go back to his old ways, but next time, he'll be more secretive, more cunning. You'll live your whole life in doubt. I saw the restaurant scene again. No, I couldn't take it. Then it's divorce. My voice was clear. If you decide to divorce, Chloe continued, you have to be ready to fight. Ethan isn't an idiot. He and his family won't let you go easily. I want a divorce, I said, my voice gaining strength. But before I divorce, I want to know exactly what I had for the last 10 years and what he secretly took from me. Chloe smiled. Cold. Calculating. Good. This is the Ava Reed I know. She pulled up a chair and opened a folder. I did a preliminary investigation. The biggest asset is the brownstone. In both your names. I nodded. The house, my parents' wedding gift, their life savings. I froze the joint savings and stock accounts, Chloe went on. The problem is, he surely has personal accounts. Do you know his exact salary? I hesitated. He told me the company held his salary and bonuses in a deferred compensation fund. He only gave me $2,500 for household expenses, management, and garden maintenance. Chloe scoffed. $2,500? You believe that, Ava? He's a senior director in charge of billion-dollar projects. He's been playing you for 10 years. I bow my head. Midway subscribe line. By the way, if you're still with me and finding this story as unbelievable as I did living it, hit that subscribe button. More unbelievable stories are coming. How did your top secret geological survey in the Hamptons end up on the Upper East Side in Manhattan? I finally asked him directly on the phone. He'd answered almost instantly, probably glued to it, waiting for my call. My composure seemed to surprise him. Ava, he started to scream, but I cut him off. My voice was clear, calm, cold. Silence on his end. A chilling silence. I could hear his heavy breathing, trying to piece together a new lie. You? What nonsense are you talking about? His voice dropped, probing. Panic evident. Who? Who told you that? I prolonged my voice sarcastically. Perhaps your partner said so. The brown-haired partner in a red dress, sitting at Aria? Isn't it a bit extravagant to entertain with a $4,000 meal? You were spying on me? His voice turned threatening, rage replacing confusion. I don't care, I replied frostily. Your job is to entertain, isn't it? Oh, and I forgot to inform you of one thing. What thing? He asked cautiously. The brownstone on the Upper East Side, I said, and smiled, though he couldn't see it. I put it up for sale. The real estate agent called this morning. There are clients offering a good price. We'll probably sign papers this weekend. What? This time he shrieked, a sharp, high-pitched cry of pure panic and rage. Are you crazy? Ava Reed, how dare you? That's my house. It's our house. You have no right to do that until I get back to the States. Get back to the States? I raised my voice, my composure finally cracking. You had no right to rent a restaurant, to spend our money on your mistress. I froze the accounts, canceled the black card, and the house will be sold soon. I hope your survey was pleasant. Now, figure out how you'll get back to the States. I didn't wait. I pressed the end call button with determination. I knew he would call his greatest ally, his mother, Eleanor. I was her daughter-in-law for 10 years. I knew this family. An hour later, my phone rang. Eleanor. Once, I saved that name with respect. Now, it brought only infinite fatigue. I took a deep breath, trying to sound normal. Hello, Eleanor. Immediately, a miserable wail poured into my ear. Oh my God, Ava. How could you do this to your husband? Will you be satisfied only when that boy dies on the street? I let her cry. A performance I'd seen for 10 years. Tears to resolve conflict, always ending with me apologizing. When I remained silent, her crying stopped abruptly, like a switch. She snapped into a sharp tone. Are you going to keep playing dumb? Ethan just called me, crying. He said you froze his card and accounts. What are you doing? Who do you think that boy is suffering for? It's for this house. It's for you. How could you be such an unreasonable, inconsiderate woman? Unreasonable. The word was a dull knife. I laughed, a cold, humorless sound. Eleanor, am I unreasonable, or is your son? He told me he went to the Hamptons, but he used $4,000 of our money to dine at a luxury restaurant on the Upper East Side with another woman. In your eyes, is that him suffering for me? A chilling silence. Ethan would never have told her these details, but I underestimated her. Eleanor was a seasoned actress. After a few seconds, she changed scripts. The crying returned, more miserable. Oh, sweetie, I know you're hurt, but you have to understand, men. They can't help but fall into temptation. Maybe you made a temporary mistake. If you make a scandal, people will laugh at our family. You have to handle this privately. Patience is a woman's virtue. If you sell the house, where will the children grow up? Mistake. I laughed again. Eleanor, where is there a $4,000 mistake? I sacrificed my career at Reed Landscapes to serve at home, and he's using our money to entertain a young woman half my age. You, she screeched, stopping her tears. What are you saying so disrespectfully? How dare you talk to your mother-in-law like that? I'm not being disrespectful. I cut her off. My voice was colder than ice. I'm just telling the truth. I can no longer be the cash cow this family makes fun of. If you don't reactivate the accounts now, don't blame me for becoming a monster. I'll go to your house right now. I hung up, denying her another word. I slumped onto the cold floor. Infidelity. Everyone knew. They defended it. My sacrifice was taken for granted, his betrayal a small mistake. This family was rotten to the core. The next morning, my eyes were swollen. Eleanor's call was poison. It killed my last illusion about the family I tried to hold on to. As I sat soullessly in my orchid garden, my phone chimed. Unknown number. I had a premonition. I clicked. Charlotte. Then turned. Her profile picture, a pouting selfie. The first message, a photo. A luxury yacht. Blue sea, clear sky. Charlotte in a red bikini, flaunting her youth. And reflected clearly in her designer sunglasses, Ethan. Shirtless, holding a glass of wine, taking the photo. My husband. The man who screamed yesterday, he was humiliated without money. Whose mother cried about his suffering. They had cash. This trip was planned. They were celebrating their triumph with our money. My hands trembled. I was her age once. I was the pride of Reed Landscapes. I gave it up to be a wife, a guardian of a safe, watching over money he gave to another woman. Another message. Mrs. Reed, Mr. Cole said you are a wise person. He said now that you are older, you should know when to let go if you want to keep your last bit of dignity. Older. Dignity. She was provoking me. She wanted a scandal, so she could play the innocent victim. I looked at the photo. No rage, no jealousy. Just disgust, like seeing a triumphant fly on cold food. I didn't answer. I didn't curse. I did two things. saved the photo and message to an evidence folder, then deleted the conversation and blocked her number. This childish provocation wasn't worth my attention. My fight was legal. My fight was for assets. I didn't need her dignity. I needed back everything that was mine. The biggest asset, this brownstone. My 10 years of passion, my parents' wedding gift. I couldn't let it fall into their hands. I called Mark, the real estate agent. My voice was calm. Mr. Mark, I've decided to sell urgently. Can you speed up the process, even if we lower the price? He seemed surprised, but professional. Mrs. Reed, your house is a rare gem. Your garden, clients are captivated. I smiled sadly. Captivated. I was the one who loved this house most. This orchid garden is its soul. Tell the clients, if they want to buy the house, please let them keep it. Rest assured, he said, I'll find you a worthy new owner. I thought a quick sale would take weeks. I was wrong. 2 days later, Mark called, euphoric. Mrs. Reed, good news. Heavyweight clients. Americans just returned. They were speechless at the photos. Good energy. Your orchid garden is beautiful. They don't want to see it in person. They trust your design. They want to put down the earnest money deposit immediately. Didn't haggle a cent off the asking price. Only one request. I asked anxious. They want to buy your entire orchid garden. Mark said, hesitating. They said the house would lose its soul without it. They'll pay an additional $25,000 for all your precious orchids and maintenance. They asked you not to take anything. $25,000. My 10 years of youth. My Reed Landscapes sacrifice. My watering, fertilizing, pruning. Valued at $25,000. It felt ridiculous, yet for the first time, I felt recognized. Someone saw the value of my silent sacrifice. Okay, my voice choked. Tell them. I accept. I'll leave everything. Excellent. Mark rejoiced. Sign the purchase agreement this weekend. They'll pay 90% cash in one go. I hung up. I looked at the garden. For 10 years, my joy, my pride, my gilded cage. Now it was the key that freed me. Goodbye, my private Reed Landscapes. Thank you for giving me my first $25,000 to start a new life. The news that I froze accounts and put the brownstone up for sale spread like wildfire. Ethan and his mother, I assumed, were slandering me. The well-meaning people started calling. First, Laura, Ethan's cousin. Ava, I heard what happened. Ethan was wrong, very wrong. I gave him a piece of my mind, but you're a woman. You have to understand men are weak. He made a mistake. If you make a scandal, it embarrasses the family. Handle it privately. Patience is a wife's virtue. If you sell the house, where will the children grow up? I hung up. Patience? I was patient for 10 years, losing my career in my youth. Now, I was to be patient, so he could give my money to his mistress. Then Andrew, Ethan's best friend. Ava, it's Andrew. I really laid into Ethan. But you're his wife. You have to understand his temper. If you cut off all his money, how is he supposed to live? He's stuck abroad. And if he does something impulsive, it's not good for you if he collapses. You have to give him a way out. A way out? Who gave me a way out when I gave up Reed Landscapes? Who gave me a way out when he embraced a young mistress at Arya? I didn't answer. I hung up. A flood of messages followed, from college friends, from worried neighbors, all advising calm, forgiveness. I was fed up with hypocritical advice. They didn't live my life. They weren't in this house. They didn't know what I'd endured. They were just outside, judging. I turned off my phone. I wanted to be alone. I went into my home office, a room I'd barely touched in 10 years. Dust covered my books on landscape architecture, bonsai art. On the wall hung the 3D design blueprint of my first Reed Landscapes project. My pride, my ambition. I sat down, turned on the computer. My hands trembled, but my brain awoke. I opened a new file and started drawing. A rooftop garden on a skyscraper, full of sun, hanging orchids, a koi pond. I was drawing my new life. Once finished, I opened social media. Posted the screenshot of my design. First draft for a new life. Rebooting Reed Landscapes. I turned my phone back on. Silence. The well-meaning people had fallen silent. They knew I wasn't playing games. I wasn't just leaving Ethan. I was rebuilding my own empire. My post silenced the persuaders, but it ignited Ethan. He was no longer my husband, but a stranger, an enemy. He'd failed to pressure me through his mother or friends. Now, he confronted me himself. He was still stuck abroad, penniless, and the rage of being cut off, combined with the shock of my public defiance, turned him into a beast. The first message came from a new, unknown account. Ava Reed, you really are something. How dare you put my house up for sale? How dare you announce your new life? Who do you think you are, using that old name, Reed Landscapes again? Still rage. Still arrogance. He still thought I was the weak kitten from 10 years ago. I didn't answer. I screenshotted, sent it to Chloe. Additional evidence. Threatening content. Hours later, a second message. More vulgar, more threatening. You're gonna play dumb? You think you can sell the house without my signature? Don't even dream of it. When I get back, I won't forgive you. How dare you touch my assets? How dare you touch my mother? You'll see. I'll make you kneel and beg for my forgiveness. My heart didn't flinch. You won't forgive me. I hadn't been at peace for 10 years. I lived in a false peace, bought with my career and my pride. I'd rather be myself than have that false peace. I screenshotted it again. Chloe, thread evidence hashed to. A day passed. No reply from me. His rage couldn't solve his hunger. Couldn't buy a plane ticket. He began to fear. A man accustomed to luxury, now trapped without money. Rage couldn't defeat desperation. Around midnight, a third message from an unknown number. The tone had changed. Ava, honey. Nausea. The man threatening me just hours ago was now pathetic. Ava, I was wrong. That girl deceived me. I fell into her trap. Believe me. I laughed. Even now, he blamed someone else. He thought I was still a fool. Ava, I really have no money. I'm stuck here. I'm so hungry. Honey, don't you have any feelings left for me? Then came the line I knew was coming. It's 10 years. 10 years of marriage. How can you do this? 10 years? He dared to mention 10 years? The 10 years I buried my youth in the kitchen? The 10 years I gave up my ambition? The 10 years I worked like a slave for his family? He was trying to trade those 10 years for a plane ticket and forgiveness for his $4,000 meal. Come back and talk. I'll fix everything. I'll kick that girl out. I'll kneel and beg for your forgiveness. Ava. My heart was cold. Affection. The word sounded so cheap from his mouth. I screenshotted it. Chloe. Additional evidence. Manipulation and pleading. I turned off my phone, threw it on the velvet sofa. The quiet room amplified my heartbeat. A heavy, tired beat. Ethan's false plea didn't move me. It filled me with disgust. 10 years. He dared to mention the affection of 10 years. I had to find out how he valued those 10 years. The Reed Landscapes post was an impulsive act, but it reminded me of who I was. Not just a crying housewife, an architect, someone who worked with numbers, with logic. It was time to price this marriage. I went into Ethan's study, a room he called his private space, forbidden to me. The smell of tobacco and old paper stung my nose. I turned on the light. Artificially tidy. I opened the drawer of his hardwood desk. Locked, of course, but I was his wife for 10 years. I knew where he kept the spare key, under the money plant in the corner. The arrogance of a man who thought his housewife would never find it. I opened the drawer. Folders neatly arranged. Contracts, insurance, bank statement from accounts I didn't even know existed. He said $2,500 a month covered everything. It was just the tip of the iceberg. I sat on the floor, spreading everything out. My cold heart felt squeezed. Expense reports in 6 figures. Weekly cash withdrawals and entertainment expenses. And here, his official salary account. The real number was 5 times what he told me. 5 times. I laughed, but tears pricked my eyes. I lived in a gigantic deception. I wasn't his wife. I was a housekeeper, paid $2,500 a month to care for this brownstone and garden, while he built another home with our money. The money I saved by giving up Reed Landscapes. The $4,000 meal at Aria wasn't a mistake. It was a habit, one of countless performances. I was so foolish to trust hold down the fort. You stay home. I'll take care of everything. He was taking care of everything in a world without me. I sat in the pile of documents until sunlight crept through the door. Coffee long cold. Disgusted, but I couldn't stop. I had to know everything. My eyes fixed on a recurring transfer record. Not huge, Only $2,500, but regular as clockwork. Internal transfer beneficiary, Mrs. Rosa Gomez. Exactly the same amount he gave me monthly. Another woman named Mrs. Rosa Gomez. A woman's intuition screamed this was not simple. With trembling hands, I checked the transaction history. June 15th, May 15th, April 15th. I scrolled back. My heart pounded. This wasn't recent. It had been ongoing. 2 years. Oh my God. 2 years without fail. $2,500 transferred on the 15th of every month. $2,500 multiplied by 24 months. $60,000. Who was Mrs. Rosa Gomez? An unknown name. Not my relative, nor Ethan's. Not a friend. Who transfers $2,500 to a friend every month for 2 years? A chill ran down my spine. Not a mistake. Not infidelity, as Eleanor called it. This was a plan. A long-term, systematic plan. He wasn't just having an affair. He was supporting another woman. Investing our money, the money I saved by giving up Reed Landscapes, into another woman. This betrayal was far colder than the video. The kiss at Aria was lust. $60,000 over 2 years was calculation. Intentional deception. Complete disregard for me. Who did they think I was? An idiot? An ATM? I didn't cry. I couldn't anymore. Only rage. A cold rage that surged from the depths of my heart. Enough to burn these 10 years of false marriage. I didn't call Ethan. No insults. I screenshotted all the transaction records to Mrs. Rosa Gomez. From the first month to the last. The total, $60,000. I sent it all to Chloe. Chloe, investigate who Mrs. Rosa Gomez is and what he supported with our $60,000 for the last 2 years. It was 6 a.m. Chloe was an early riser. I needed a shower. My body smelled of hatred and cold sweat. The hot water poured over me, but I felt cold to the bone. $60,000. The number echoed in my head. He took from us $60,000. For 10 years, living at home, I was frugal. No designer bags. No luxury trips. We have to save for the future, he'd said. His future. With another woman. As I stepped out, towel around my hair, my phone blared. Chloe. Her voice wasn't that of a lawyer, but of a friend so furious she was losing control. Are you sitting or standing now? Standing. Tell me. Results. I held back my wildly beating heart. Sit down, she almost screamed. I slumped onto the bed. Mrs. Rosa Gomez, Chloe said, taking a breath, as if holding back profanity. 60 years old. Outskirts of New York. No stable employment. 60 years old? I was even more confused. Ethan would never. Who is she? My voice cracked. Chloe was silent. Then each word clear and precise. Ava. She's Charlotte's mother. Charlotte's mother. The phone fell from my hand, landing silently on the wool carpet. But something exploded in my ears. Charlotte's mother. The mother of the 20-something intern. The mother of the woman in the 30-second video. $60,000. $2,500 a month to the mistress's mother. I could no longer feel emotion. It wasn't pain. It was nausea. He wasn't just having an affair. Not just a mistake. He was playing the doting son to his mistress's mother. With my money. Our money. I picked up the phone. Chloe was still screaming. Do you understand what I'm saying? That bastard was supporting not just his mistress, but her whole family. That woman was living like a queen. He was using your money, the money you sacrificed from Reed Landscapes, to support another family. Ava, are you listening to me? I'm listening, I said, strangely calm. I understand everything. What do you understand? Chloe paused, surprised by my composure. I understand, I said, standing and walking to my closet. He hasn't been my husband for a long time. He's been a thief and a con man. When the truth finally comes out, no matter how cruel, pain dissipates. Only rage remains. And a single goal. Chloe, I cut her off. Prepare the divorce papers. But I don't just want a divorce. I don't just want half the assets. I want everything. I'll make him pay for these 10 years of youth. Principal plus interest. I arrived at Chloe's office at 9 a.m. Not the soulless, swollen-eyed woman from days ago. I wore the white suit I used to defend my first Reed Landscapes project. My hair pulled back, makeup carefully applied. I was not a betrayed wife. I was a partner, here to discuss a deal. Chloe's gaze shifted from surprise to respect. You're amazing. I was worried you'd lock yourself in, crying. I smiled coldly. Crying, Chloe? Tears can't get back $60,000. Good. She tapped her pen. Let's get to work. With this $60,000 proof, we can file for divorce and for fraudulent dissipation of marital assets. You'll get the majority of assets. He won't be able to lift his head. Just sign here. She slid a folder across. Just as I reached for the pen, she stopped. Wait. She frowned, eyes fixed on her computer. I asked my paralegal to double-check the brownstones information on the property registry for your sale, Ava. Her voice turned serious. Come and see this. A premonition, worse than hearing Mrs. Rosa Gomez's name, gripped me. I went to her screen. The title deed. Look at this. She pointed to small print in the notes section. Your house has a lien on it. It's mortgaged. Mortgage, I repeated mechanically. That doesn't make sense. I didn't sign any documents. This house was my parents' money. It's mortgaged. Chloe's voice was like a wedge. And not for a small amount. He took out a $500,000 loan against it. If $60,000 was a slap, $500,000 was a bullet. No, it's not possible. I screamed, my composure crumbling. Chloe, a $500,000 loan requires my signature. I'm a co-owner. Never. Calm down. Chloe grabbed my shoulder, shaking me. Listen, look at the date of the mortgage. I squinted. 6 months ago. Exactly 6 months ago, Chloe said, her voice burning with rage. Remember signing any strange documents then? 6 months ago. My head spun. Yes. Ethan had come home, excited. A golden opportunity. A top-secret investment project, only for executives. He brought a thick folder, told me to sign quickly, saying they were internal documents, and his boss was waiting. Oh my God. I crumbled. I signed. He pointed to where. I didn't read. Chloe, oh, Chloe. Chloe slammed her fist on the desk. That bastard tricked you. He tricked you into signing a power of attorney or a mortgage consent. He took $500,000 from your parents' house. I didn't hear anything else. $60,000 to support his mistress. $500,000. Where did that $500,000 go? The top-secret survey trip to the Hamptons? Suddenly, everything clicked. He didn't go to investigate. He went to finalize that $500,000. He was planning to escape, to leave with $500,000 and his young mistress, leaving me with a foreclosed house and gigantic debt. The $4,000 meal at Aria was just the celebration of his successful deal. Ava, Chloe's voice brought me back. Her face pale, eyes burning. Listen carefully. This is no longer just a divorce. This is not a civil case. She gripped my hand. This is a crime. Your husband is a criminal. Fraud and embezzlement. I looked at Chloe. The tears had dried. The pain was gone. Only cold emptiness. Yes, I said, eerily calm. What do I do with a criminal, Chloe? What's the procedure for filing a criminal complaint? Criminal. Fraud. Penal. Each word a hammer blow. $500,000. The number felt abstract, an abyss. I must have staggered. Chloe held me, set me down. Ava, are you listening? Calm down. Not the time to faint. Calm down. How could I? 6 months ago. I remembered vividly. Ethan, his face alight with excitement. A golden opportunity. Internal investment. Change our lives. You'll never worry again. He brought the thick folder, jargon I didn't understand. He flipped pages, pointed to an X. Signed quickly. My boss is waiting. Just an internal guarantee. We trust each other, right? Don't you trust me? I trusted him. For 10 years, I trusted him. I signed without reading a word. I signed the power of attorney. The mortgage consent. The death sentence of my marriage. My assets. How stupid I was. The emotional betrayal hurt, but this financial deception, this cold calculation to embezzle, using my absolute trust, filled me with utter disgust. He wasn't just a bad husband. He was a professional con man. Chloe, I looked at her, my voice dry. $60,000 to support his mistress and $500,000. What was he going to do with this $500,000? Chloe's eyes were full of pity, but firm. You still don't know. He scammed you. He used your parents' house, your assets, to borrow $500,000. He was preparing his escape. He was going to leave with that $500,000 and his mistress, leaving you with a gigantic debt and a foreclosed house. My heart stopped. Selling the house. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't even to stop the bleeding. It was a necessity. I needed to sell. I needed the 90% cash they promised to immediately pay off that illegal $500,000 debt. If I didn't, the bank would foreclose. I, the co-owner, who signed under deception, would be held responsible. I would lose everything. The house, my parents' money, and be in debt for life. Ethan Cole, he didn't just want to leave me. He wanted to destroy me. To bury me alive in debt and shame. Ava, Chloe gripped my hand. Listen, this fight has changed. It's no longer a simple civil divorce. It's criminal. You're no longer just a wife demanding justice, but a victim who has to fight for her own freedom. I left Chloe's office as if floating. I don't know how I drove home. Everything was a fog. The world was still noisy, but I was in a soundproof glass cage. I slumped onto the steps of the orchid garden, the $25,000 garden. My pride. Now, the only thing that could save me. Everything became clear, cruelly clear. I connected the dots. 6 months ago, he tricked me into signing the mortgage. The bank dispersed. $500,000. He had the money, enough to start a new life. He started spending more blatantly. The business trip was scheduled. The 15-day geological survey was a lie, carefully crafted to give him time to transfer the money and disappear. That he took his mistress was not the reason. She was the prize. He rewarded himself after a successful fraudulent deal. And the $4,000 meal at Arya. My God, I let out a dry laugh. It wasn't client entertainment. It was a celebration. Ethan Cole was celebrating with my money, using our house as collateral, the fact that he had just swindled me out of $500,000. He celebrated his impending escape. He celebrated that I was the fool who would soon be mired in gigantic debt. His contempt, his cruelty, went beyond infidelity. This was calculated evil. He didn't just want my money. He wanted to destroy me. I picked up my phone. My hands were cold and steady. I called Mark, the real estate agent. Mr. Mark, my voice was calm. It's Ava. Cancel all other house viewings. I've decided. I'm selling to the American client. I accept all their conditions. I want to sign the papers this weekend. I need the cash. Sooner the better. Mark seemed surprised, but grasped the situation. Fantastic, ma'am. I'll call them right away. I hung up. No other choice. I had to sell. Not for divorce assets. To save my life. He wanted to bury me alive. But he didn't know I was a seed. Reed landscapes would rise from these ashes. I sat in a brownstone, now merely an asset. I turned off my phone. No more threats. No more false pleas. No more calculated crying. I needed silence. In that silence, I wondered, what was the man who just swindled $500,000, enjoying his business trip with his mistress, doing now? I couldn't see him. But later, when everything came to light, I knew even my darkest imagination couldn't match the cruelty of the real facts. While I struggled with $500,000 debt, Ethan and Charlotte were on a 5-star yacht, living the extravagant life he once despised, drinking expensive wine, eating food I never dreamed of, spending my money like water. But all parties end. My phone call, the frozen accounts, the canceled black card, a bucket of ice water on their imperial dream. The black card, symbol of his power, was declined when he tried to pay for the yacht rental the next day. He was stunned. His second, third cards also declined. His rage, the one that led to 66 missed calls, was real. He couldn't believe his docile wife dared cut off his lifeline. And the fight began. Not mine, but theirs. I could imagine Charlotte, accustomed to luxury, reacting when her gold mine ran dry. You promised you could take care of everything. You said the world would be mine. Now what? The cards don't work. Who's paying the hotel bill? You're a con man. And Ethan, the patriarchal king. How could he endure that humiliation? Financially betrayed by his wife, now bitten by his mistress. Shut up. If you hadn't demanded that $2,000 bag, we'd have money for a plane ticket. You're a parasite. Their love, built on my betrayal and money, was fragile as sea foam. When the money was gone, only hatred remained. The $4,000 party at Aria was their high point. This was their hell. I lived in silence for 2 days, organizing Reed Landscapes documents, old blueprints, contracts, wiping down every dusty trophy. I realized I hadn't just lost money. I'd lost myself. I heard nothing from Ethan. Eleanor was silent too. A bigger storm was brewing. On the 3rd day, as I prepped house sale documents, my phone chimed. Unknown number. Charlotte. Again. Last time a bikini photo. Now what? Had she and Ethan reconciled? Wanted to gloat? My first instinct, block her. But something stopped me. I opened it. Not a photo. Not a provocation. 3 words. Mrs. Reed, save me. Save me. What game was this? I didn't answer. I didn't believe a single tear. A person who willingly accepted $60,000 for her mother from another woman's husband was capable of anything. Minutes later, a flood of messages. A long paragraph, as if pre-written. Ma'am, I was wrong. I don't dare ask for your forgiveness. Just save me. That man deceived me. Mr. Cole is not human. He's a demon. I laughed. Demon. A few days ago, he was her sophisticated gold mine. He ran out of money. That was the next message. You blocked the cards. He doesn't have a penny. He hit me. He locked me in the hotel. He said if I didn't get him money, he would sell me. Ma'am, I'm so scared. I escaped. I'm at the airport. I don't have a cent. I wasn't a psychologist, but I pieced it together. The yacht fight. Ethan, penniless, revealed his true nature, a cornered tyrant. Charlotte realized she'd bet on the wrong horse. She loved his money. With it gone, she fled. Fled from Ethan, from the chaos she helped create. But why me? The last message explained it. Ma'am, I know you're going to sue him. I have what you need. Proof that will make that man unable to lift his head. I can help you. I only ask that you forgive me for the money we received from him. My mother's sin. I will pay it back. I promise. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. She wasn't my friend. She was a rat fleeing a sinking ship, selling her old partner. She thought she could use me. She didn't know I also needed a tool. I looked at her message. Mrs. Reed, save me. Just days ago, she mocked me. Now, this dramatic change. I didn't trust her. This was another act. A cunning trap. I didn't answer. I wanted to see what else she could act out. And as expected, my silence panicked her. A flood of messages. Mrs. Reed, please answer me. I know you hate me. I deserve to be hated, but Mr. Cole is not human. He's a demon. I remained silent. Demon. The gold mine she boasted about. He ran out of money. You blocked the cards. He doesn't have a penny. He hit me, ma'am. He hit me. The next message was a photo. A selfie. One cheek swollen and bruised. A long scratch near her mouth. I escaped. I'm at the airport now. I don't have a cent. I'm using borrowed Wi-Fi. He said if I didn't get him money, he would sell me. Ma'am, I'm so scared. I was wrong. I was foolish. I just want to go home. I looked at the photo. Pity? No. Only fatigue. This was the price of greed. She gleefully enjoyed my money. Now she paid for the party. I remained patient. This rat wouldn't come crying, just a vent. She had bait. And it came. Ma'am, I know you're going to sue him. I have this. It's proof that will make that man unable to lift his head. He hid it in the safe in my apartment, and I stole it. I only ask that you forgive me and my mother for the money we received from him. I will pay it back. I promise. I just want to live in peace. Proof. The coup de grace. I raised the corner of my mouth. This rat was clever. She knew she needed insurance. I typed. My first response to her. Cold as ice. What airport are you at now? Instant reply. I'm still stuck abroad. I just escaped to the airport. I don't care where you are. I wrote. I also don't care if he hit you. That's your problem and his. But I'm interested in the proof you mentioned. Yes. Yes, it's true. The double contracts. Tax evasion documents. He said it was his biggest secret, how he got rich. He said if it got out, he'd go to jail. Tax evasion. Double contracts. A strange emotion stirred. The empire he built, the sophisticated director facade, built on crime. Monday at 3 p.m., I sent without hesitation. My lawyer's office address, 30 Park Place. Get back to the States however you can. Bring the proof. We'll talk. I hung up. He would cling to this as his last lifeline. He'd still think I was stupid, still loved him. He'd come, hoping to reverse things with crocodile tears. He didn't know he was walking into his final judgment. Chloe's office at 9 a.m. was different. The air was tense. I wore a black suit, not white. The color of the end. Chloe by my side. Across from us, Mr. Herrera, a lawyer from J Capital, the investment fund. Solemn face, piercing eyes. Ethan arrived 5 minutes late. He opened the door himself. Saw me, saw Chloe, especially saw Mr. Herrera. He stopped. Wretched. Unkempt beard, greasy hair, wrinkled designer suit, smelling of fear and sweat. Haggard, bloodshot eyes. Ava, honey. He tried a pitiful voice, tried to approach me. Sit down, Chloe growled, pointing to the only empty chair. Ethan froze. He looked at me, then Mr. Herrera. Realization dawned. He awkwardly pulled up the chair. Mr. Ethan Cole, Chloe began, her voice devoid of emotion. Today, we're not here to talk about 10 years of affection. She pressed a remote. The large screen on the wall lit up. Let's get straight to the point. Image 1. The 30-second video at Arya. The scene where he kissed Charlotte. Ethan closed his eyes, gritted his teeth. This is next, Chloe pressed. The bikini photo on the yacht. Silence. Just look at the screen. Next slide. Bank statement. $2,500 circled in red. A table calculating the total, $60,000. Ethan turned pale. Next, the Brownstones' mortgage contract. $500,000 enlarged. Followed by a signature analysis report. The signature of Mrs. Ava Reed is concluded to have been obtained under fraudulent pretenses. That's nonsense. Ethan screamed. You signed it yourself. Still trying to lie? I opened my mouth. My first words to him since he walked in. You said it was an internal guarantee document, right? Ethan was speechless. He stared at me as if seeing a ghost. Finally, Chloe pressed the last slide. The folder of double contracts Charlotte brought. This time, Ethan didn't scream. He just sat, panting. Sweat poured down his face. He knew there was no denying it. Mr. Herrera spoke, low and firm. Mr. Cole, I represent J Capital Investment Fund. We have obtained all these documents. We are officially reporting you for commercial fraud and embezzlement. You have been deceiving us for 5 years. No, Mr. Herrera, I was deceived. That girl, Charlotte, she seduced me. Ethan turned to me, tried to crawl out of the chair, to kneel. Ava, save me. Tell him to stop. 10 years. It's been 10 years. I looked at him, the man I once loved groveling at my feet. My heart didn't stir. No pity. No satisfaction. Only emptiness. Mr. Cole, I said, you don't need to beg me or Mr. Herrera. The person you need to talk to is not us. Ethan looked panicked. Just then, the conference room door opened. 2 uniformed police officers. 2 plainclothes detectives. Mr. Ethan Cole, a detective said, showing his badge. We are the NYPD's Financial Crimes Task Force. We received a report of your tax evasion and fraud. Please accompany us to the station for questioning. Ethan was petrified. He looked at the police, then at me. The look was no longer pleading. Pure hatred. But it was too late. Too cold. Silver handcuffs snapped around his wrists. He was dragged past me. My 10 years of marriage. My 10 years of youth. My Reed landscapes, which I had given up, officially concluded with the dry click of the handcuffs. 6 months later, Chloe gave me the update. The trial was held. The result, public. Ethan Cole was sentenced to 18 years for fraud, embezzling $500,000 from me, fraud against J Capital, and tax evasion. 18 years for a lifetime of greed and falsehood. His mother, Eleanor, couldn't overcome the shock. She had a stroke, paralyzed on one side. Bedridden, crying, cursing, I heard. No one cared anymore. Charlotte, for her confession and returning the entire $60,000, received a suspended sentence. She disappeared from the city, returned home. I no longer felt hatred or satisfaction, only that everything had returned to its course. You reap what you sow. I stood in my new office. Small, a penthouse in an old building, but full of sun. Walls covered with design blueprints. Forgotten for 10 years, but my skills hadn't vanished. They were a seed buried under the rubble of a marriage. Now the storm passed, they sprouted. Chloe came in, 2 coffees. What's wrong? You just got the landscape design contract for the entire new riverfront development. Why the long face? I smiled, took the coffee. I was thinking about what kind of trees to use for the central lake. Chloe laughed. Seeing you now, this is the Ava Reed I knew. I looked out the window. The sky was so blue. People bustling. My heart, surprisingly peaceful. I sold my $25,000 orchid garden, but I got back my entire sky. I didn't need charity to prove I was okay. I just had to live well, do my job well. 10 years as a housewife, I learned to tend a garden. Now, I would use that skill to tend my life and make other people's lives more beautiful. I took a deep breath. The smell of coffee, paper, and freedom. My real life had just begun. What do you think? What would you have done in my place? Have you ever had to reclaim your own life after a devastating betrayal? Tell me in the comments below. I really want to know.